I wanted to ask people, say 3 years ago when they would, a bunch of tools came out that said presentations in minutes, Some of them said, "Do away with research. Who needs research? I'm talking about PowerPoint presentations. What do you want? 20 slides? We're talking 5 seconds. Just put in your topic." And of course, I would say, "Well, just show me some guy on stage doing a great presentation that was great." I wouldn't know he used AI or not. I don't know. No one would ever show me that. And so now are there any examples of someone who's, said, "Wow, that was actually a great talk on whatever, molecular biology of or something. That was great." And, well, I don't know if you used AI or not. The visuals, I don't know if you used it or not, but then you say, "Yeah, actually, that I made that thing in like 2 minutes." Now, if you can show me that, is that even possible?
And also, let's also assume, Gar, that it is possible. But even if it's possible, there's still a problem. And the problem is that that speaker, if that presentation was done, prepared 100% in 5 seconds by AI, then that means that there is another speaker in another part of the world who potentially is giving exactly the same talk, because anyway, it wasn't his talk, it wasn't her talk, it was done by AI. And it goes back to what Terry Zupa says: you need to tell the story that only you can tell. So it's not enough to just say something and say, well, you want to share a message that only you can share, that comes from your experience, from your life, personal, professional, and no AI tool will ever be able to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I think if that's the sort of the foundation, the principle that serves as the foundation, that these are my ideas. It doesn't mean you can't use AI later in the process, but when you're really thinking about what am I going to include in this and what am I not, your ideas don't come just from ourselves. Of course, we read. That's where they all come. We read and read from the masters, different books. Maybe they're good books, maybe they're not so good, which also stimulates us. There's a book called Make It Stick, not Made to Stick, which is good, but Make It Stick, which talks about how, the best way to actually learn something. And of course, they would advocate for reading, but also for something like presenting. Presenting is using it. So writing essays, essay writing, you say that and people just go, "Oh my gosh, terrible." But that's not actually how you learn, because writing is thinking. And I think presentation is thinking, not just in when you're kind of putting it together, with sticky notes and so on. But even when you're building slides, ideas come to you because it takes time. And I have time, a lot of us have time. If it's an important thing in 6 months, you have time to work on it. It's different from, hey, we need a presentation in 2 hours. Well, of course, that's different.
You made me think of something that you said. Yeah, you need to say, okay, these are my ideas, and then you said that doesn't mean that you haven't. Of course, these ideas maybe come from someone else. You read and you listen to podcasts. That's exactly what happened as I was writing my book. My book it includes almost 300 short reflections on ideas connected to public speaking, communication, presenting. And maybe 80% of these ideas, if not more, I don't have original ideas. They
Uh-huh.
come from
Yeah.
conversations I had with people like you on the podcast, and Seth Godin, Guy Kawasaki, and
Yeah.
Dan Pink, and John Medina, Carmine Gallo, and many others, and also the books I read, the podcasts I listen to. And often, and this is the part I love, then maybe I read a book or I watch something that has nothing to do with
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
communication.
Yeah.
And then, then, of course, I always think about communication, then I see maybe there's a connection. Maybe there is no connection, but sometimes I think, okay, maybe there is an interesting connection here, and you
Yeah.
can create that interesting connection, that analogy, that comparison. And my book is full of those concepts that
Mm.
I've borrowed by
Yeah.
someone else. I've just repurposed them in a different context.
Yeah, interesting. So when I used to work for Apple a long time ago, they would pay for classes at Stanford, so long as the classes were not related to my work. For example, it couldn't be on how to use Excel or something, because I do that. That's my job, or whatever it was, or marketing, like marketing 101. Well, that was my job. So I think they understood you should just take classes in anything. It could be opera singing, or mathematics, which wasn't my job, but it would stimulate me in different ways. So I think they knew that, which is why they pay for that. Right? It makes better employees to be learning things outside your field, but you just never know. And that's the mystery of the human mind, is that we don't know where these great ideas come from. But they don't come from just, sitting at your computer. Or I would say that's what they used to say. Now I'm not sure. Do they come from AI? Yeah, maybe, but is that really from? Is it from you, or is it from this machine which just took all these? It just scraped all these ideas.